Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I very much appreciate it. And in tonight's video, what I'm going to do might be today, wherever you may be, and whenever you're watching this, but I'm going to go into more of the 90s cards that I had in boxes like this, for those that may have seen the previous video. And we went over a pretty good amount of cards from the first vid of the 90s. I also have 80s video up. And what I'm going to do, for those that may not know, the cards that I have in here are cards that I selected during my childhood. Same with the 80s cards. There were cards that at the time, for whatever reason, I may have been collecting the player, like, for example, Ken Griffey Jr., 110%. But there are other players, too. And some of them were up-and-coming names. Some of them, considered prospects. And in some cases, I don't know the rhyme or the reason. And going back through these, there's some cards that may not even be top-loaded that should be. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. So I will say really quick that regarding this young man right here, Junior Caminero, one of my favorite players of the modern age, we had a conversation, actually, a friend of mine and I, and he had mentioned, man, I hope he's okay. I'm not going to say too much because some people may not have seen the All-Star game yet, et cetera, but I will just say no broken bones for Junior Caminero, which is amazingly good news. Very glad to hear that. So, without further ado, we're going to get into it here with some 90s cards goodness. And let's see where we left off. I do believe we left off on a Larry Walker on the Stadium Club, which I do believe this is a 91 Stadium Club card. And it is. Something that I find interesting with this particular Stadium Club set. So you notice here, it says, and I'll bring it up to the camera just in case, but 1989 Topps debut, rookie card. However, his rookie year for cards was 1990. And you can see by the design on this Topps card, that's a 1990 design. It's not a 1989 design. So it really makes me question, why would they say 1989 Topps debut? Maybe they had a 1989 Topps traded, but this particular set, and I'm trying to think back, because I don't have the 91 Topps traded. But usually they show the exact card. So anyway, I'm just curious. If you guys know, by all means, let me know in the description. But yeah, we got some Larry Walker there. Actually, I'm going to put them upside down so that I can put it back in the order that I pulled it from. Then we've got Albert Bell. Don't call me Joey, or else I'll run into you just like I did Fernando Vina. Albert Bell is one of those players. This was before the full nastiness came out on Albert Bell. And I'm not here to bash anybody, but boy, let me tell you, he had a mean streak in him, for those maybe who don't know. And the same situation here, 89 Topps debut, yet it's got a 90 border. It's bizarre. I just don't know. Then we're going to the kid, and of course my PC. Absolutely love Ken Griffey Jr. there on the 91 upper deck. And I love, this is the Ken Griffey Senior card, but I collect both, Senior and Junior, just because I loved the duo, essentially. And I absolutely loved it when they both played for Seattle. I thought it was amazing. That game where they both hit a home run in the same game, that was just father-son dream come true, I remember my dad, and, he was a base coach for me in Little Leagues, and that was just a thrill. Now I've got Juan gone here. Looks like I've got two of them on the 91 upper deck. Let's see. Yeah, nice shots there. And Upper Deck, man, when they came out, it just shook the hobby. It was a thunderstorm that just came through in the hobby because the photography was absolutely phenomenal. Another Albert Bell there on the leaf. Yeah. Well, yeah, he doesn't look too happy right there. That kind of gives you an idea. Looks like Mad Dog about to come charging. Easy, boy, easy. All right, and we got Juan gone again on the 91 leaf. Yeah, I remember these Leaf cards when they first came out. It was like, as a kid, because of the money that it cost at the time, I can't remember, but I want to say it was like $2.50 a pack or something like that. And, I could have bought 4 packs, perhaps, of Topps for that price. Ken Griffey Jr. on the, what year Upper Deck is this? Oh, I love that picture. It's great. That's why they call him the Kid, one of the reasons. 93, the Kid, Upper Deck. And, you know, he was so young. He started the majors, well, when he was 19, I believe. 19 years old. Then we've got Mike Mussina, the Moose. Yeah, Mike Mussina, he was fun to watch. And, you know, I remember that game with the Yankees later in his career. And if I remember correctly, Joe Torre was coming out to essentially either talk to him or possibly switch the pitcher. And Mussina just waved him off with his hand saying, no, I got this. And Joe Torre had faith in his pitcher. He's like, you got it, man. But I remember Mike Mussina in his early days with the Orioles.
Little looper, Bill Ripken's going to handle it. And the Orioles start heading to the mound to shake the hand of Mike Mussina. Jeff Tackett out with a big smile, and he just pitched a masterpiece here tonight against one of the best hitting teams in baseball. Mike Mussina with a one-hit shutout, strikes out 10.
The Moose. All right. And we've got some Jeff Bagwell goodness here. Of course, on the Astros. Remember seeing him play along with Biggio. And they had this guy that was sitting in the stands behind us. He was drunk as a skunk. Oh, my gosh, man. My dad and I were sitting there trying to enjoy the game. And he's just, I won't even try to replicate it, but screaming Biggs, Bags, Biggs. It was miserable. But the rest of the game was great. Then we've got Irod here. Ivan Rodriguez, of course, Pudge on the 92. And that's a great card. I just think that's a really cool pose of him doing what he did best. Well, I mean, yes, he was an absolutely phenomenal catcher, but he's a phenomenal hitter too. So he was just a great player, is what it comes down to all around. Got another Pudge. Always liked Pudge's personality. I just thought that was he was a fun guy. Now we've got Kenny Lofton here on the 92 Upper Deck rookie. Such an underrated player. And the other day I was watching, actually, when he had the altercation with Randy Johnson. I have to share that sometime. Caused a whole bench clearing. And Randy Johnson, I mean, I don't hate the guy by any means. But, yeah, he was definitely in the wrong there, in my opinion. 92 Upper Deck. This is one of my favorite cards of the Griffies, where you've got Ken Jr., Sr., and his brother Craig. And Craig didn't play a lot in the MLB, but he did play. And yeah, predominantly his focus was in football, actually. But I just love the family pick. I just think that's awesome. Yeah, then we got some Kenny Lofton magic there. On the 92 Bowman, Ken Griffey Jr. on the 92 Bowman as well. Yeah, the 92 Bowman was a great set, and of course very popular. So many rookies and phenomenal players, first year and whatnot. Barry Larkin, of course, Hall of Famer. Amazing, absolutely amazing. One of my favorite Reds of my era. John Smoltz, killer pitcher there for the Braves. Yeah, the Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox combination was just absolutely crazy. Then we got Dave Winfield here, the 92 Bowman. Yeah. Good old Dave Winfield. Yeah, I think the first Dave Winfield, well, I know for a fact, it was when he was with the Yankees. And we got Crime Dog McGriff. Just did a video on him not too long ago. One of my favorite players. There on the Padres. Gary Sheffield. Awesome player. Slugger. But an all-around phenomenal athlete. All-around phenomenal player. And we got Jim Abbott. Yeah, this is somebody I'll talk about in a future episode as well. I loved watching this guy, and I was mystified, honestly, when I first, came upon Jim Abbott as a young, gosh, what year was I? I was a kid. I mean, I was about to enter, I was junior high, I think. I think I was a junior high. And the fact that he had one hand, and he did everything he did, was just, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I thought that was incredible. Barry Larkin again, this time on the Bowman. I think the previous Larkin was on the upper deck. And then I like these with the 92 Bowman. I thought that was a cool, where you could get the gold border cards. I like that a lot. United States Baseball Federation, 1984 Alumni, USA Team, 84 Olympic Games. Man, that 84 Olympic team was a star-studded cast the first time we were ever in as an Olympic team in 84. I might read an article about that. I was going to do that the other day, and I decided against it, but I might read that 84 Olympic article. And we got the doc here on the 92 Bowman, Doc Gooden. It's got an amazing story about him and his father before his father passed. It's quite an amazing story. Definitely recommend checking it out. Deion Sanders, Neon Deion. You love him, you hate him. Yeah, dual athlete, of course, as we know. Football, NFL for the Falcons. I mean, he was entertaining, obnoxious, with the bling-bling and the attitude, yes. But he did bring it. He definitely brought it. And he was fun. Definitely a fun guy to watch. He's amusing, as well as extremely talented. And it runs in the family there. Dennis Eckersley, I remember seeing him for the A's. Yeah, one of my favorite pitchers. I mean, I've got a lot of favorite pitchers. We all do. I think for most of us, at least, we kind of have our favorite. Then there's like a top, 10 or 20 that just ranges from all across eras. Eddie Murray, switch hitting master. There in the Mets, always think of him with the Orioles. There we go. Talking about favorite players. So this is my favorite closer of all time. Mr. Sandman, Mariano Rivera. There were so many games. I loved every game I could catch where he was pitching, and you just knew how it was going to end up 9 out of 10 times.
They are on the precipice. The stretch and pitch. Hit on the ground on a hop to Brocious. Fields, throws across, in time. Ball game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win. For the 24th.
Amazing pitcher, amazing guy, just down to earth, modest, great person, great teammate. Mike Piazza. And I'd say 99% of the population, whenever they come across a Mike Piazza card, pizza does pop into the mind in some way, shape, or form. It's just unanimous with the name. But Mike Piazza, man, great player. He definitely had Roger Clemens' number, at least to a certain extent, and Clemens was none too happy about it. As we remember the broken bat scenario and Clemens saying, hey, you can have it back. Let me throw it at you. Pedro Martinez, speaking of throwing, when he threw Don Zimmer down, that was a bad day. But otherwise, great pitcher, phenomenal pitcher. Younger brother of Ramon Martinez. Pedro there, rookie card. I'm glad I got a good bit of these in top loaders at least. And the top loaders, most of these are in really, really good shape. I haven't come across like any dark yellows yet, which my Griffey Jr. wasn't a dark yellow. I had to switch that out. Chipper Jones. Yep, whenever I see Chipper Jones, I immediately think of Adam's card closet. And now I'm going to have no choice but to do shout-outs. Shout-out Barry, Jeff Bagwell for his Astros. Man, that's a young Bagwell. Gosh. Speaking of the Astros, yeah, I used to put them together, man. I always put Biggio and Bagwell together as a kid in my binders. They were, for me, the dynamic duo. You know, and the fact that Biggio started as a catcher and, you know, became predominantly a second baseman. But originally, yeah, catcher was going to be the deal. He could play both. If he had to play catcher, he was great at both positions. Greg Vaughn, another great player, I think was underrated on the 92 Bowman. Randy Johnson, just talking about him not too long ago. It's one of the instances where he's smiling and not looking like he wants to do apocalyptic damage to the opponent. And we got the Big Mac, Mark McGwire. And I mean, gosh, McGwire, you know, what can I say? As a kid, when 87 hit, McGwire, I mean, he was, along with Canseco, I'd have to think back, but definitely dominated the hobby. Dominated the hobby for a while there. You still had the other names, you know, you had Mattingly, and I mean, I could go on, Gwynn, you name it, all the stars of the 80s. But in the hobby, McGwire and Canseco, the Bash brothers, dominated. Now, here's a guy that, one of my favorite, without a doubt, all-time Blue Jays, and one of my favorite players. As I mentioned before, a lot of times we have a ton of, you know, faves, but Carlos Delgado, man, this guy, you know, there was one game that I remember seeing, and I was absolutely mind blown. Absolutely mind blown.
There it goes. Deep to right center, and it is gone. Number 300 for Carlos Delgado. He wanted the ball. He's looking for the ball.
He asked Marlon Anderson, the second baseman, to get the ball. It actually hit windows and bounced down on the field, and Usher picked it up and threw it into the stands. And now the ball boy down the right field line is looking for the ball that's somehow making its way through those stands.
Hit his 300th home run, and, you know, he wanted that ball. He was like, hey, I want that ball. And they were searching for it. I'm pretty sure they found it and they gave it to him. But yeah, Carlos Delgado, absolutely phenomenal. And being able to hit that 300th home run, I know he felt good after that and probably decided, man, you know what? As long as we win and get a win out of this, I'm good.
Faced Jorge Sosa. He's taken him deep. Can he make it 3 in a row? There's a ball. There's a shot to right field, to the wall. And he does! Number 301. Oh, my goodness. He has got Jorge Sosa's number. Folks, that's a hat trick.
Hat trick for Carlos Delgado. The first one was a fastball out over the plate.
So he decided to hit a second home run. Okay, back-to-back home runs. You know, it makes you think of home run derby, you know. What does it say here? Carlos made his professional baseball debut at St. Catharines in 1989. He played at Myrtle Beach and Syracuse in 91. But, you know, it's one of those things where you hit 2 back-to-back like that, you had a good day. I mean, gosh, you know, I wonder, when you hit 2 like that, is it reasonable to think, you know, hey, I'm going to go for 3? I mean, as unlikely as that is, I wonder if that even crossed his mind.
On the right side anywhere. Julio Lugo was playing short center field.
There's another shot. Could it be 3? Yes, it can! Home run number 302 and counting. Number 40 on the season. Tie ball game at 6. What a night for Carlos Delgado.
So it did cross his mind, evidently. He belted 3 home runs, and now the memories are coming back to me. I'm starting to remember why I love that game and what blew me away so much about Carlos Delgado in that particular game. But yeah, what stats does he have written down here? So 91 totals. Let's see, out of 133 games, we had 129 hits. What was his average? Just under 300, 284. And how many homers did he belt out? 18. And I mean, we're talking about his rookie year. Those are phenomenal numbers. Well, I know he was glad that day to hit 3 home runs, and you could tell by the look on Lou Piniela's face for the opposition there that he was none too happy. And yeah, he went home a happy.
2 strikes. Golfed, hit hard. No way! 4 home runs for Delgado. A 4 home run night. Never before has a Blue Jay done that until now.
And that might have been the longest out of all of them. Wow.
Holy cow.
When 3 isn't enough, you know, it's one of those things in life sometimes. There's a fine line between being greedy and you're contributing. So you're not really being greedy at all. You're helping your team out, right? And that was definitely what he did that night. He belted 4 home runs in a row. Not only did he get his 300th home run, he got 4 back-to-back. Not home run derby. You don't know what's coming down the plate. But he anticipated each and every at-bat while he was with the Blue Jays. And it's just, I could keep talking about Carlos Delgado. He's just an amazing, amazing player, without a doubt. On the Blue Jays team, Joe Carter, that same year, well, at 92 here. This is 91 year with Carlos Delgado. We got Tino Martinez there on the Mariners. Shout out Paulie D. And for the Blue Jays, shout out my friend Freedom Sufferer. And we've got the Indians there. Albert Bell once again. Let's see, what mood's he in today? Yeah, he looks like he's kind of pissed off there too, to be honest with you. But, you know, that's, what else are you going to expect? I think he was born that way, truth be told. Ivan Rodriguez, the Pudge, that's a great card on his 92 Bowman. And we're just going to go over a few more here. Mike Mussina, the Moose again on the 92 Bowman. Man, I'm glad I got these Bowman cards then because, you know, I know the prices shot up for these. I think it was a box. I think it was a box that I got. And then we've got Manny Ramirez. Now, Manny's another one of those players that is in my favorite players list. And, gosh, I like Manny for a lot of reasons. One, he's an absolutely phenomenal player. But another reason, he just had such and has such a great personality. Both on and off the field, he always made sure to have fun.
That one by Millar, hit in the air, left center field. Manny Ramirez back, and he makes the catch! What a catch by Ramirez! They're going to try and double up at first, and they do! Aubrey Huff is doubled up as Ramirez makes a spectacular catch in left field off Millar. He wasn't even looking at the baseball. Then he climbs the wall, and Huff is already around second.
Yeah, got a couple of those Mannies there. And I think for today, guys, that's probably where I'm going to go ahead and end it. I'm going to have to see exactly how long the video was. Hopefully not too long. Try to keep it under 20 minutes if I can. But I will definitely go over some more cards in the near future. And I do thank you all very much for watching. I thank you all for your time. And I will give just a few shout-outs really quick here. So for Texas, shout out Justin, 3 Good Nerds. And we got the Orioles. And we've got Rippin' for Rushmans, for sure. Orioles fan over there. And let's see, Ramirez, he was Indians. Gosh, I'm trying to think, who is my Indians viewer? Let me know in the comments. There's somebody out there who's an Indians fan, a.k.a. Guardians. It'll always be the Indians to me. But anyway, let me know if you are in the comments. I appreciate it. If you like this content, please consider a subscribe, like, and or share. I appreciate everything, guys. Thank you all very much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening.